The money from the trust fund has been catalytic in terms of getting projects in the ground over the past several years, both for nonprofit organizations and then for county governments as well, who didn't necessarily have funding streams in place.
South River Federation has been monitoring the South River, and we've identified hotspot areas. Those top two polluted areas are Church Creek and Broad Creek.
The rockfish, now known as blackwall hitch, was one of the hot spots in the Spa Creek watershed because of the size of its roof and the parking lot.
We decided to kind of do an overhaul of the entire building and the property, and one of the opportunities that was brought to us by the Spa Creek Conservancy, which was zero runoff, environmental friendly parking lot first in the city of Annapolis.
Cabin Branch is surrounded at the headwaters by large and permeable surfaces of the Annapolis Mall.
Projects like these really help the residents keep their property. It helps the state maintain clean water.
The Davidsonville Wildlife Sanctuary was one of the first large projects that the Federation undertook. The animals lived in and around the pond and created this huge essentially cesspool. We essentially tried to reset the clock.
Chesapeake Bay Foundation is working with Anne Arundel County and the Department of Navy to do a good bit of restoration work on Sunrise Dairy Farm. Projects that we're working on is a good bit of reforestation. In a big storm, the manure lagoon would overflow into the local streams. We're going to turn that manure lagoon into a permanent stormwater wetland.
The approach we're using to look at watersheds like Church Creek is to look at all the sources of pollution that are going into the creek itself.
Is trying to tackle that stormwater runoff issue to basically reverse the trend of just venting water and treating it up on the landscape, recreating wetlands.
Whenever we look at a project like this, sticker shock can scare you away. We actually were able to get the project done with some of our own funding, but with the majority of the funding coming from other organizations and the Chesapeake Bay Trust Fund.
The Trust Fund has been very instrumental in so many of our projects in the watershed that they would not have gotten done without it.
The trust fund money has been transformative. Without those dollars, there'd be no opportunity to get big projects in the ground because they don't have revenue streams to create those kinds of opportunities.
Getting state funds and federal money to do these projects is critical to meet the requirements that the federal government has put on the state of Maryland to clean up the Chesapeake Bay.
Without the trust fund's money, we certainly would not have been able to finish that project and put it in the ground.
I think that each of those organizations brings strengths to the table and is able to accomplish things that either the county would have difficulty doing because they've got unique relationships with various people in the watershed.
And we really saw the power of that when private industry and the state of Maryland came together on this project, how quick we could get things done.
I grew up on the water with a polluted lower bay. My child deserves something better, and all of our children really deserve something better, and for the first time in the last few hundred years, there's the motivation to do something better and to be something better.